Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
That's good.
All right. Today we have a lesson called Amazing Animal Adaptations. Um, what do people do to adapt to winter weather? What do you think
Most
people...
people would like wear a coat to keep themselves warmer, or just put on like more clothes, just to keep them warmer so they don't freeze.
Yes, that's good. Yep. So you obviously have an idea of what adapt means, and that means to change something about your appearance, behavior, or surroundings to make it easier to live and survive. So good job. And also, not only do humans have ways they have to adapt to their life, but animals also have to adapt to their habitat, or place where they live to survive, which is what habitat means. So today, we're going to talk about animals and their habitats. There are two basic ways that animals adapt to their habitats. And one way is by changing the way that they look. And this is called physical adaptation. For example, a deer might camouflage or blend in with its forest or surroundings. Or a duck has webbed feet to help it swim in the water. Those would be examples of a physical adaptation. Yeah. And what are some physical adaptations that you might know of? Are there anything that you can think of that are similar to those examples?
Well, like you said, polar bears use their white coats to blend in with the snow around them.
Yes, that's very good.
Seals do too sometimes. And the penguins, they can't fly, but they use their wings to kind of like fly underwater so they can run a little faster.
Yes, those are very good examples. Good job. Another way that animals adapt to their habitat is by changing the way that they act. This is called a behavioral adaptation. For example, a bear hibernates in the winter, or geese fly south for the winter. Can you think of any behavioral adaptations that you might know of?
Well, foxes, some types of foxes, will change their fur coat depending on the season. When it's summer, it might turn like red or orange or gray. But when it's in the winter time, their fur will change white so they can blend in with their area better.
Very interesting. Good job. Nice job, Kendall.
Thank you.
Yes. So for our lesson today, we are going to be creating a new animal. Yes, you can use supplies to draw a picture of your animal. Before we do that, though, we're going to go over a worksheet that just talks about some American landforms. And I have it here, and I'm just going to read some of them. And these are just different places where animals can live. Just a couple of the ideas so you kind of get an idea of different landforms, okay?
Okay.
It says a landform region is an area or land that has similar landforms all over it. The United States is made up of the following regions. A coastal plain. It's one of the largest landform regions in the U.S. It's made up of low, flat land and extends from the Atlantic Ocean to the Gulf of Mexico. Another one is the Appalachians. They're west of the coastal plain, and they're the oldest mountains in North America. They are smooth and round, having been worn down over centuries of erosion. They're covered in trees, and their peaks range from 6,700 feet high. The interior plains are the biggest region, stretching across the middle of the country and covering many states. The Rocky Mountains fall into the west of the Great Plains and are made up of an entire region. It expands all the way down from Mexico to Canada. And in the west is the Rocky Mountains. The land is uneven and unpredictable. Deserts, beaches, forests, and mountains ranges live side by side. And the Great Basin, a low, flat area surrounded by higher ground, is also part of the west. So those are just some different areas that animals can live as well. So when you're creating your animal, you're also going to think of a place where your animal is going to live. what habitat your animal would live in, okay?
Okay.
And then you're also going to write about 2 physical adaptations as well as 2 behavioral adaptations that the animal has. Now remember, use your creativity. It can be whatever animal that you would like it to be, okay? And
Okay.
just to kind of model for you, I made up an animal right here, and it's called the Pupalulu. It's a dog, but looks sort of like a caterpillar, sort of. So this is just, use your imagination. And for this one, my physical adaptations were that this animal flattens to the ground in danger. So if some animal's coming and it might think it might eat it, it just goes flat. So like no one can see it. Yeah. And it also, like a duck, has webbed feet so it can swim away from things. And
Cool.
yeah, thank you. My behavioral ones are that it hibernates as well, and that it also travels in packs of other Pupalulus for safety. So that's kind of just an idea of what we're doing today. Make up whatever animal you would like to, and then write about the 2 different adaptations. And then I will give you some time to do that, okay? And then when we get back from that, we have another activity that we're going to do.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, Kendall, did you have enough time to create your animal?
Yep.
Awesome. Would you like to share with me what your animal is?
Yeah.
Where it would live? I might not have told you that before. I apologize. Where the animal would live, and then the physical and behavioral adaptations. Go ahead.
Okay. So my animal is kind of like an antelope. Well, it's like a type of antelope. I'm pretty sure it doesn't exist in real life, but yeah. It's called a Kunjari.
Nice.
Kungari. And like most antelope, like, you know how their horns kind of like curve inward, so like towards their back? This guy has horns that curve outward. So
Very
that
nice.
They can poke better.
Mm-hmm.
And one physical adaptation is that it has sharp teeth in its mouth good for thwarting off predators, or biting down on harder to get like roots or plants. But surprisingly, it's not omnivorous. It's just a herbivore, and I think that's pretty cool. Also,
Yeah.
it has rougher hooves than usual, so if it's trapped and it needs to climb stuff to get away from a predator, it can do that. It can also climb some trees if it's possible.
Good job.
Yes. And a behavioral adaptation that I have is that usually when it gets a little colder in the savannah, which usually doesn't happen, but in case like it travels sometimes, because they don't usually like stay in one spot, they like to travel around a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And its fur will kind of like expand a little bit and get a little more fluffy, and it'll trap heat inside so it stays a little warmer.
Nice. Very cool. Was that all that you had?
Yep.
Good job. That was very creative. All right. Now, I gave you that website for the animal adaptations game, and that is where you just go on there and you pick and sort the different animals and what different habitats that they would live in. So we're going to go ahead and work on that on the game right now, and then I'll be able to kind of see how you did on that, to see your understanding of different habitats and where animals might live. Okay, so I'm going to give you a little bit of time to work on that.
Okay.
Did you get a chance to finish the game?
Yep.
Good job. What'd you think? Was it fun?
It was pretty fun. A little challenging, but
Yeah.
it's nothing I can't handle.
Well, that's good. Sometimes a challenge is good. No, it looks like you did a good job and you have a pretty good understanding of animals in their different habitats. But I know that that's one interest of yours as well, is animals. So that's awesome, Kendall. Very good job.